But it all looks very nice, but in fact it's not nice at all. Greetings everyone, it's Angelo Rain, and today we're going to talk about obscure figures that you definitely shouldn't buy. So let me clarify that these are shameful bootlegs with some pretty strange details, because I want to present to you in this video, well, you must have certainly seen the vintage Japanese Saint Seiya models, like the Delta. It's coming from the Japanese versions. But you must have definitely seen this kind of product online on sites like Le Bon Coin Vintage. You're probably wondering about the origin of these products, like where they come from, why they have strange names, and most importantly, are they official Saint Seiya products? The answer is going to be quick, radical no. Simply put, these are atrocious bootlegs, and we're going to do the review, as it should be, of these abominations. The vintage Saint Seiya line was released in 1987 in Japan, in 1987.5, which means a few months later in France, or even 1988 for some collectible pieces. 87.5, that is to say a few months later in France, or even 1988 for certain collector's items. And so it was quite easy to find vintage 87s at the time in the big stores at the time, Continents, Cora, Leclerc, and other stores such as Mammoth, which is now called Auchan, at least for France. But it is clear that unfortunately, since some vintages could not have, without any valid explanation, the release. In the European continents, like for example, Nimes of Benetache and Alberic of every time we say Merguez de Maigres never made it to Europe, and Chinese, Hong Kong and Taiwanese companies from unknown origins decided to release bootlegs. These bootlegs are easily recognizable because they don't have the Bandai seal. So it's crucial for those who want to know if they've come across an authentic model or not, we'll open them, especially the golden rule. When you buy a vintage Saint Seiya figure, always look for that logo. So first off, it's very important for those who want to know if they've come across an authentic model or not. Don't worry. We'll open them up, especially the golden rule. When you buy a vintage Saint Seiya figure, always look for that logo. It's really important, especially the golden rule. When you buy a vintage Saint Seiya figure, always look for that logo. It's very important. If you see this logo, you're looking at an official one. It can't lie. Bandai 1988 made in Japan. There you go. Very important. This product is made in Japan. The Divine Warriors were released in Japan. Certain exclusives that didn't come out here in Europe. And for some small companies, dishonest I want to say, they decided to release bootleg models. There you can see Epsilon, which is called Dog King. The dog. There you go, Harp King. And now, can someone explain to me why Eagle King, of course there's no Bandai seal. There is no Andai jump. There's something that bothers me a bit. It's that you can see that the designs we see, at least here, look like they're from the original time, before the Bandai sticker was added. Does that mean that Bandai back then had already planned boxes without stickers and a fraudulent company might have gotten hold of them by removing the logo? We don't know. Does that mean that Bandai back then had already planned boxes without stickers and a fraudulent company might have gotten hold of them by removing the logo? We don't know. We don't know, and I don't have a valid explanation for this kind of product. So we can see there's a vintage Poseidon. Of course, the absence of the Saint Seiya logo for some. There you go, you have the big Saint Seiya logo. So here you have a warrior cloth robot. So it's really about these bootleg figures that I've highlighted. The warrior cloth robots. They are, I must say, quite strange. And of course, there's no font, there's nothing. We're showing them to you. On the Japanese boxes, there's the barcode, the text saying it's an official toy, with the official audio, the Saint Seiya logo. And here, you can see that there's nothing. It just says Robo Warrior Cloth. So it doesn't have the Bandai seal. And it's the same, of course, for the others. And the boxes really, in a way that truly indeed look like those Mes Printemps. They really look vintage. And there are some jerks online, on Le Bon Coin, on other similar platforms, even on eBay,
who sell this and don't mention that it's bootlegs. Some of them say and claim it's an official product. So as you can clearly see that I have Arc King in 3 different models. It's absolutely crazy. With Arc King, I have it in Bandai, I have it in Robo Warrior, and I also have it in this range. I don't know what it is. Here they put some kind of logo. It looks a bit like a Chinese thing. And here you can tell he's not talking. I have no explanation. So the thing about these toys, which are pretty easy to recognize, is that they're made of plastic. Poseidon, I don't get the points. Poseidon that was released here. In my opinion, I think these figurines you see, the 3 there, the 2 there, and the one I'm holding, created solely to satisfy fans who can't get their hands on the original Japanese models from back in the day. And so they decided to make some replacement bootleg editions. So here, for example, you see that Poseidon was released here in Europe. Poseidon, the god of the seas. And then they thought, let's make some Poseidon models. I have it in pretty good condition. It's pretty strange, by the way. Same goes for the Steel Knights. This time, get to see Saint Seiya robots. By the way, as a personal collection, I am sending a message. Because I don't like fakes, but there is one figure that I absolutely want from Warrior Saint Seiya. It was actually showcased by a fellow YouTuber, Vinny Toys, who presented a Gemini from this range, Warrior Saint Seiya. It's a vintage Gemini, but it's much bigger, almost twice the size of a vintage one. And since the vintage Gemini Knight is my favorite figurine, I've always dreamed of having it. Unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to get this collectible piece, and he's really lucky, and I hate him for it. But I'm not giving up hope that one day I might find it. It's a shame. So listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to cut and open the boxes. You'll see there are a few small differences compared to the original Bandai model. Let's go. So here we go for the unboxing of these figurines. Obviously I'm not going to assemble them. So up here on the left, we have the Bandai versions. And everything here are the bootleg versions. Let's start by showing you the Bandai ones. So here we go. I'm going to be careful not to drop my pieces. So here we can see that these are indeed the Bandai models. And as I explained, you always look under the character's kantup. These are indeed Albirex vintage mimes. There are some pieces that are a bit damaged. You always look under the feet. There you go, very important, Bandai 1988 Japan. There you go. At least this way you have the necessary information. Very few people know this, but it's true that it's obviously a piece made of metal and plastic. It's not the Hong Kong reissue. It's chipping. It's definitely a Japanese model. Anyway, the Hong Kong model's chipped, so you absolutely won't have any chance of escaping that. Well, I'm not going to show you Delta's foot, but just so you know, Delta is definitely the Japanese version. Emerald-colored armor that doesn't chip. A piece made of plastic and metal, so with the character's head. Alright, make sure to remember the faces. Anyway, we'll do a comparison. So these are definitely the Japanese models. Now we're going to show you this version from the Saint Seiya range. And here you can see that there's a pretty obvious difference. Since here, like the Mythcloth version, like the official vintage version from Bandai, as you can clearly and distinctly observe, you can indeed, without a doubt, see that the pieces are entirely and absolutely made of plastic. Completely made of plastic. And it's shocking because it's much shinier than usual. You can really see that it's plastic, while on the figure, it's definitely official merchandise, I promise. Also important, it's not brand new, so it's very important that you look under the foot. Check this out. Made in Taiwan. Makes you think it's a Taiwanese model. But that's absolutely not the case. It's a counterfeit. I've always relied on the L that you see. The L file, finally the L file, the letter L makes me think. Finally left or right. No, it doesn't mean anything. I always had doubts, that's why now making bootlegs, managing to find the details on the figurines is very difficult. But anyway, if you ever see this character, so it's the Lumades, I didn't know he had green hair. He was never released in France. Do your research if you see made in Taiwan. It's a bootleg. Here you have the Lumades. Everything is respected. You have the totem, everything. Obviously it's a completely plastic piece, so it's a heresy. Definitely don't buy it. For those who want to get a Lumades, Ryumades, or Casa de Lumades, I'm saying it with a Japanese accent. The vintage, obviously a Jap from 87, so rest assured about the Hong Kong reissue, it doesn't chip. So the reissue with the box, I'll put up the photo. The reissue doesn't chip like all the Marinas, so you don't have to worry about that. Now we're going straight to one that's really disgusting. A total heresy. We're going to move directly to Fenrir Epsilon. And the same goes for the Dog King line. I'll show you that there are also instructions. They give us instructions. There are instructions on these things with some disgusting newspaper. So with the Warrior Cloth robots, it's same, they're completely plastic figurines. So easily recognizable. And above all, just take a look at this. This abomination, if I manage to grab it, there it is. Just look at those eyes. In blue, I don't know why. And there you can see that there's not even, the articulation is really defective. There's not even a made in Bandai, made in Japan, it's just left and right. So here you have proof A+B that you're looking at an ontoscopy. And also, one detail that shocks me is that I have my hypothesis. It seems to me that on the first models, even the vintage ones from back in the day, the Japanese vintage models and the European ones, regarding the Divine Warriors, we always had this illustration of the character that doesn't match the colors. So we could see, for example, Hagen of Merak with red hair, even though that's absolutely not the case. And I'm wondering if, indeed, these might be prototype models. Prototype models that might have been tested by Bandai. And the thing is, I'm really wondering, are the illustrations we see on the back actually the so-called prototype models in plastic that Bandai might have picked up? We don't really know, do we? Sorry, the neighbor's kid is having fun with... I'm telling you, you can never be at peace in this video anyway. And now I have the plane. With the lighting, it's not easy. So there you go. Obviously the armor is completely plastic left and right. It's really... so don't get fooled. Obviously don't get fooled. And look, the faces are still pretty good. It's still pretty impressive though. There you see that it is the bootleg version of Ita. And look anyway, with the Japanese version, there is still a small difference. The face is better detailed on the Japanese version, but it's still work. Wow. He pissed in his pants. It's still good work. And you see the same left and right, easily recognizable, and obviously armor entirely in plastic. There you go. Don't be fooled. We end with Eagle King. I'm even missing the Hagandamera, which is called Pegasus King. It's called Pegasus. The armor is completely plastic. It's really disgusting. Then keep in mind that the vintage, of course, is the one you need to have. You need to have the vintage model from back in the day first and foremost. Because if you end up with a figure that unfortunately isn't the right model, you're definitely going to have the name affected by that. Just keep in mind that if you rely on what you see in the video, as soon as you see a character in red and you see left and right, it's definitely a bootleg. It's that simple. As soon as you don't see the word Bandai, it's obvious. It's important because there are a lot of people who use people's passion to offer bootlegs. They say it's official Bandai products, but that's completely false. So there you go. This video is really to encourage people not to buy this kind of stuff. So that's why in this video, as long as they're watching this, I'm not promoting that stuff. I'm fighting against this kind of heresy. For me, that's just absurd. I guaranteed them to collectors to one day represent them to other collectors. Because for me, as I'm a true absolute fanatic, this vintage stuff, I always like to present the content with the precision that I'm known for. And here we can see the warrior Saint Seiya, a legendary figure known for his bravery and strength of this warrior saint. His name is Marine Saint, a title that signifies his connection to the sea and his role as a protector. So this is the espadon, a powerful weapon that is both revered and feared. Here on the other hand, the pieces are made of metal, which is known for its durability and strength, providing a formidable defense in battle. They're not oxidized. At the same time, he doesn't have much armor on him considering the price he costs in vintage. So at this point, I just want to say, this knight isn't really essential. And this range, obviously, oh well, there's nothing written here. There's nothing written at all. It's really child's play. It's the best way not be seen. Now, on the other hand, I'd like to show you this Harp King. I don't know who that is. I don't actually think this is Robo Warrior. I think it's more like Warrior Saint Seiya, like this range here. But I'm not completely sure. Perhaps definitely. We can already see that compared to Robo Warrior, Arc, King, which has orange and pale. Here we chose bright red. The face is really hideous. It's an abomination, plastic, and it's this kind of figurine. It's marked Taiwan. The face is really filthy, it's a heresy, really disgusting, and it seems to me, oh, it's plastic, same thing, plastic, and it's this kind of figurines that are, oh look, there's something written on the back, there, well there you go, you see it's not even marked, made in Taiwan, it's just marked Taiwan, so it must be a mesh, it must be. Of course, it's Taiwanese, it's bootleg. That's the problem with, that's the thing with this kind of toy range. It's that you can never know. I think the best bootleg creation for me will always be the Sagittari fake, the Sagittari premium. The Taiwanese have even gone so far as to reproduce the box exactly, the big white box with the Bandai logo. And to differentiate the figurine, one is a bit paler than the other, which is shiny, but the pieces are all plastic. And it's so well done that you could think it's official, even though that's absolutely not the case. And so here we have this one, Poseidon Squall. I'm wrapping it up with that. Here you go. And now, on the other hand, we're looking at something I don't understand. I don't understand because you see the pieces are made of metal. There, plastic metal, totem, everything. It's vintage. It's vintage, and that's why this video isn't going to be very helpful for some. You see, this is the vintage, the real vintage. It's metal plastic from Poseidon. But look at this. Look at these sneaky ones. Look at how far they've gone. Bandai Mapolapan. Bandai Mapolapan. They made it seem like this right here, without the Bandai seal, is a Bandai. While in reality, it's just a damn counterfeit. So this is the one I really want to show you. So this right here is definitely a damn counterfeit. So this is the one I really want to show you. You see the plastic cover? This is really the one I want to highlight on this YouTube channel. I don't think they're from the same collection. No, this is from Sendo. So we have some. So this one, I have no explanation for it. It doesn't give any info about the product, and I have no idea where this bootleg comes from. It's marked in English, so if you ever see this one on Lebancoin, Vinted or whatever, just be careful. Don't take it because you'll think it's vintage. By the way, if you find a character like this on eBay, it's sold like that, and you'll always have the risk of wondering if it's a bootleg or if it's official. Definitely don't take it because you'll think it's vintage. By the way, if you see a character on eBay that's being sold like this, you'll always have the risk of wondering, is it a bootleg or is it official? Don't ask yourself this question. Get the incredibly sought-after, exclusive and rare Japanese Bandai collectible figures from 1987 Japan, a truly vintage collection. And the most important thing, if you really want to try, go for the European versions. After this one, I put it together, and it doesn't seem to be faulty, so it's tricky. Really, really tricky. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to sign off. Thanks for watching this long video. Every time I say it's a mini review, but that's absolutely not the case. These figures are curiosities in the world of passion. A lot of people have been fooled, so I really hope this video helps those who want to get into vintage collecting. It's not easy, I admit it's not easy. You can come across this kind of, I want to say crap. There you go. Why did you get them, Angelo Rain? I got them because I wanted to see what a bootleg was like. And some of them were given to me by a friend, so I won't mention his name. But look, it's really it's well done. It looks like it's illustrations, but it's not. This is not the case, and it goes very far. All right, my friends, I'll catch you later. Leave comments, like, share, boost the YouTube algorithm, and then we'll meet again for more reviews in the world of toys. This was Angelo Rain. See you.